Please welcome Rick Mahorn.
Eddie, I got a short speech. Got my iPad. Oh man, what an amazing night. You know, I'm old, so I got to make sure I get this right app, and I'll get it started. I'd like to thank you, and I just want to give honor to God, who is the head of my life. You know what? Let me scratch this. Thank you so much for this honor. Thank you, inductees. It's a pleasure to be with you guys. I'm sorry I won't hit any of you because that bad boy is dead a little bit right now. First, I'd like to thank my lovely wife and my family. With their support, I wouldn't be here this day because they're so concerned about me, and I enjoy the way that they oodle and ah over me. My wife and kids drove down, and my wife said, "Your daughters just love you. They just wanted to look at you." Of course, I was asleep at the right time of the day, but I enjoyed that. The thing I want to do is I want to thank the people that are not here, and that's my mother, who raised four kids from welfare. But the thing that what impressed me about her is that she worked hard cleaning floors and really never complained. But it was just what her drive was, to treat people with respect, but also respect yourself. So I like this honor more goes to her because she was such a bright influence in my life. A big guy like me can cry, I'm sorry. And another person that was pretty much my mentor, my idol, was my brother, 5 years older than me. He passed a couple of years ago. I'm living his dream. He was a guy that, I tell you right now, he was LeBron James before LeBron James was even thought about. But, you know, other than just wanting to stay in Connecticut, he ended up dropping out of school and, you know, just staying home. But the thing about it, my goal was always to beat my brother and not beat not to play basketball, but to beat my brother. My sister, Audrey, she's no longer with us as well. I'm sorry to bring all this news to you, but she was very, me and her used to get in so much trouble. And my sister Pam is here. She came down, Pam Mahorn. And Audrey and I would get in so much trouble that we were just like thick as thieves. And you go like, boy, they're doing something. They're up to no good. So I like to make sure. And then last but not least, it's a guy named Hank Ford, who was a guy like you, Kara, I couldn't stand Coach Ford. I didn't like Ford at all. But I learned to mature and respect him because I was a knucklehead. I was straight up knucklehead. And it's a guy here, Robert Wilson, and his lovely wife, Stella, who, you know, Coach Wilson would make me do a lot of things. And I like to thank him and thank Hank Ford for producing this man, because the influence of a young black man in America, you need a strong male figure. And Hank Ford and Robert Wilson were those two men. And I like to just tell you, Coach, thanks. And you know how you can just go and say, can I make a dad? Can I just make a dad? That was one of my wishes, to make a dad. Well, he's here, but he was never my dad. His name is Al Walden. He was my agent once I first got in the NBA. He came down with his family. His son, Yanni, is here, who came down to see me as well. He accepted me not only as a basketball player, but he accepted me as a person, and he let me be in his family. He's here with his lovely wife, Carol. I'd like you to give him a hand as well, too, please. And you know what? I never heard of Hampton Institute. In fact, I never even heard of Virginia State, Norfolk State, Elizabeth City, ODU, things that, I mean, I never heard of any of these things being from Hartford, Connecticut. Not only did I grow in college a little bit more, but I grew one summer from 5'11" to 6'6". And trust me, my mother looked at me and said, boy, I ain't feeding you and I ain't buying no more damn clothes. So I had one pair of jeans. I brought it to Hampton. I got another pair of jeans once I went to Hampton. So a thing about it being in a Division II school at that particular time, from Hampton Institute to Hampton University, I had a chip on my shoulder, and I played like I was gonna just basically, I wanted everything. I wanted to just be successful in life. And I like to give a shout out to my Hampton family that came here to support me. You know, Joan, all you ladies over there, you know what I mean? And hi to all the fellas that I came around. And I also like to say hello to my teammates, my former teammates that came. Some drove down, and you go like, okay, one guy in particular, Daryl Warwick, he's here. Greg Hines, Richard Talaferro, Tony Threet, and a guy named Mike Baldwin. Now look, we're at a black college, all black college. Why do we got a white public relations director? Mike Baldwin, can you stand up if you can? Where are you, Mike? You know, every time, this guy, let me tell you, it was like the pizza, back then it was the Pizza Hut All-Star Game for seniors. Now I'm Division II. You know I ain't gonna make it. You get all these guys like Kevin McHale, Joe Barry Carroll, Daryl Griffin, guys that go to Louisville, Duke, Mike Jaminski, and all this stuff. But Mike Baldwin sat there. We used to ride on the bus going from here to Johnson C. Smith, filling out ballots. Come on, Ricky, you got to get one more. Come on, come on. So I'd like to thank you, Mike, for all that hard work. I mean, this has been a roller coaster ride for me, from a fat kid to a skinny kid to a kid just from the streets to go to Hampton University Institute, whichever you want to call it, to do the damage that I did, because I didn't like playing basketball. I loved football, but my first freshman year in school, girl, you couldn't even think, you would look at me and say, that boy can't play. But when you saw me my second and third and fourth year in college, I was part of the best. So I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame. This is an honor and a privilege. After knowing all the people that were in there, Bruce Smith, and seeing all these men with championships and all that stuff, I'll catch you sooner or later. But one thing, thank you so much for letting me be involved in this family, and thank you so much, Eddie Webb. Oh yeah, hey, Coach Webb, you my man.
Now we know Rick went to Hampton Institute, now Hampton University, so it only makes sense that I'm interviewing Mark Miller, who is the NSU athletic director, and a Virginia Sports Hall of Famer, and of course a very good friend of Rick's. Now Norfolk State and Hampton, of course, have one of the greatest rivalries around. What is it, come from the enemy perspective, how much respect do you have for what Rick accomplished, not only in Hampton, but overall in his career?
Well, I'm very impressed with his career. When he was a student athlete and we had to play them, we knew that we were in a tough ball game. He was very talented. In fact, you look at his size, that gave us problems. So, but he could score. He was just a tremendous student athlete, and he really is a great asset for Hampton. And to have the opportunity to know him the way I do, I think they should be very proud of him.
Now, be honest. Don't you love when we start a question with that? Always been a bad boy, known as the bad boy. Is he still, or is he really a teddy bear now?
No, that was just his professional image. But I've gotten to know him. In fact, we were inducted into another Hall of Fame back in 2003 together. From that time, we become very close. But he's a very nice person. He's easy to get along with, easy to talk with. So he's really a nice family man.
We love to hear that. Thanks, Marty.
All right.